Welcome back, guys. I'm hoping that the session with Tanya was enriching and it finally answered a few questions that I'm sure all of you had with regards to counseling. I know when I was younger, I also used to wonder how counseling would be, beneficial for me. Why do I need to go to one? Why can't I just talk to my parents or my friends? Why not just take their advice? But it's the professional guidance that also helps you every now and then. They do know the right tools to guide you. So I'm sure that it was effective and helpful for you guys. So guys, we are now going to start the much awaited session, which is with pioneering ladies, wherein we have we have got people from different walks of life, but they do have one thing in common, that they all believe in mental health, right? They all have spoken about it loudly and openly. They have tried to spread awareness of it in their own way. So why not? Let's just start by introducing our panelists. To start off with, we have Shumita Kakkar, who is founder and CEO of United We Care. She is someone whose mission is to support those in need through a virtual platform, through a digital platform, and I think she's doing a commendable job at it. Then we have Dr. Bhavna Barmi. She is a child psychologist and relationship therapist. She is someone who leads the Department of Psychology in Fortis Escorts, the Heart Institute in Delhi. She's also the founder of Happiness Studio. She believes in reaching, assisting, and caring. Then we finally have our guest speaker, Ninna Claire. She's played the role of an editorial lead in well-being for BW Business World, where she launched a new vertical, BW Wellbeing World. She has her own platform as well, known as Pursuit of Balance with Nina Claire. She actually creates content revolving around well-being, wellness, and relationship dynamics. She is somebody who has tried to be the voice for a lot of people, going through their own challenges. In her own way, she has guided them. So we have these three wonderful ladies with us for this wonderful session on overcoming mental health challenges. I welcome all three of you to this platform and thank you for joining us today. All right. I do have a question actually, for all of you, because I'm very interested to understand what's your take on mental wellness and mental health, So I was wondering, Dr. Bhavna, if you can kickstart probably this discussion for us. How can one overcome these overwhelming feelings that we have, with regards to understanding our own emotional and mental state? In your expertise, what is the best way to support and help our people to open up?
A very good evening, and thank you for giving this platform to me so that I can connect with all of you. And I think today is a very, very special day and a day very close to my heart, which is the Mental Health Day. And thank you, Shruti, for asking this very pertinent question, because what I would like to start by and say is that it is truly important for us to be able to overcome these issues. So, one, I would suggest each of us to self-reflect and acknowledge that I or my family member may be going through a mental health concern. So I think the first step is to identify. And very simply, I would say that there are four main domains which give us signals that maybe we are moving towards mental health concerns. The first of which could be in the somatic zone. So that means some common signals that our body gives us is that it could include a disturbed sleep and appetite cycle for us. There could be many types of psychosomatic aches and pains. There can be chronic fatigue. And so the body starts talking to you that maybe we are moving from lines of balance to lines of imbalance. Then our mind talks to us at the cognitive level. So cognitively, we start seeing that, maybe our attention and concentration is getting reduced. Forgetfulness is increasing. Procrastination, brooding, these are the kind of mental belief systems that are becoming a part of us. Behaviorally, we are becoming restless, or we are starting to use certain substances which are maybe taking us into addictions. And emotionally, is one of the major signs that we need to reflect on, because emotionally either we externalize in terms of anger, irritability, short temper, displacement of anger, or we internalize in terms of feeling anxious, insecure, apprehensive, or even getting into the gamut of depression. So, very, very important, I would say, is to enhance our own awareness. And our awareness, one, we can also do by signing in for online well-being and self-enhancement programs, or joining self-help support groups, or attending webinars like what we are doing. A lot of literature is available around mental health, which helps us gain perspective and knowledge of how to better oneself and overcome these issues. And thirdly, I would say each of us needs to equate it as we would for physical health concerns and seek help. In fact, consulting mental health professional definitely helps us, as they provide an empathetic, non-judgmental, and maybe positive solution-focused guidance, which would allow you or your family members to freely talk about your emotions and your experiences. And in fact, the best way to encourage someone dealing with a mental health concern to open up, is to empathetically assure them that you will be there for them, and that they can share their feelings and struggles with you, and you are going to keep it confidential. In fact, you could also share if you have personally gone through or know someone close who has gone through any mental health concerns, as that gives them additional confidence to be able to share, as they realize they are not alone. And additionally, using some solution focused approach and giving guidance with the best intentions, like maintaining a good lifestyle, is, some of the things that we can do with our best intentions, and of course further motivating them to share their feelings with close friends, family members. Even reaching out to a therapist or a counselor may help.
Thank you so much, Bhavna. I think that was very well explained, and I think very thoroughly also mentioned. There are quite a few things that you broke down for us. Shumita, Nina, what are your takes on it? Like, do you agree with it? Do you have a different thought to it? Not from the professional eyes of a psychologist, but somebody who's possibly seen somebody, go through it, or somebody who's experienced it themselves. What's your take on something like that?
So, Shruti, what Dr. Bhavna just mentioned, I think it's such a valid point. You meet friends and family who are going through stress and anxiety, and you know that it is somehow within themselves, and they're not trying to take it out and talk to people, about it. And it's so beautifully put by Dr. Bhavna that you must open up and you must talk your heart out, because there are counselors who can actually guide you positively in the right direction, so that you start thinking positively, and then it impacts the entire family in such a beautiful way. So one person feeling low in the family can actually impact the entire family and entire negativity around the house. So counselors are there for that support. They're experts who actually change that thought process, and make you smile and think positively. And I think that's really needed today, especially in today's times of COVID. It's really important.
So I agree with Shrimita and Bhavna. I think very wonderfully and succinctly put. And it's very interesting for me because normally I'm on the other side asking questions. So to be answering is something different for me. But what I feel sincerely as a human is the importance of creating conscious connections and sharing stories. I think it's so powerful because sometimes even in the absence of, I mean, right now I got a message from a friend of my sister's whose daughter's not doing too well. And she's a teenager, and she said, Nina, I can't afford therapy. So what do you do in that case? I mean, the power of community and story sharing, I think, is very powerful in those circumstances also. So creating conscious connections and sharing stories is very powerful.
Absolutely agree. I think, Nina, in the last session, one of the viewers asked me that, what is your personal feel and how are you trying to create this, acceptance of, the stigma today. So I said that, whoever I speak with, I just give stories of all those people who've given themselves a second chance of opening up and talking to a counselor and getting that positivity in their life. And these are the stories, you very rightly said that these are the stories when you share, you just bring in positivity and you open minds of people, that it's, if they could share, you can too. So it's not a stigma anymore, and it's okay to be open and share.
Absolutely. One person at a time, I think.
That's very wonderfully said by all of you. And thank you, Ninna and Shumita, for your take on it as well. So, Shumita, actually, you did actually kickstart this event for us, where you spoke about the virtual aspect of mental health,
Yes.
right? So, I wanted to understand from you, taking cue from that as well. Ninna and Bhavna, just to give you a background quickly, Shumita actually spoke about what are the advantages and benefits of providing services virtually or on a digital platform, right? Given the pandemic has actually changed our lives 360 degrees, right? There are a lot of things that we're trying to adapt ourselves with. There are a lot of things that we did do for the last 2 3 decades, but all of it came to a halt, all of it came to a stop, and we're trying to adapt to this new lifestyle. And what a lot of youngsters may say, that this is the new norm that we're trying to adapt to, right? So that is what Shumita actually spoke on, that these are the advantages of virtual services, and how we at possibly United We Care are trying to tackle that, and how we're trying to make things accessible, inclusive, and confidential, right? So Shumita, taking cue from that, how do you think technology based digital platforms such as United We Care help people in times like such, when they need the support and help?
So, Shruti, I would like to, just give a little bit of a background, that National Health has actually announced talk therapy to be one of the most effective ways to deal with depression and anxiety. And taking that first step of talking to somebody who's maybe in a hospital or you're known to is difficult, because you're always in the fear of being judged, or you're always in the fear of people knowing that you're walking up to that person, and your friends and relatives getting to know that you're going ahead and taking a counseling. So that is still a problem in the mindset today, and that is what we're trying to break. But in the meantime, what we have created, United We Care app, it's actually a perfect fit today, and especially in today's time, because when you need somebody to speak with, and when you want to actually talk to someone who doesn't judge you, who doesn't give you a biased opinion, and who gives you the right direction, and who's an expert actually, or a counselor who can guide you in the right way, United We Care comes with a perfect blend of technology and human touch. From the technological side, I would say I'm very, very happy to share that Stella, our wellness assistant, which we have on our United We Care app, is um, is an intelligent wellness assistant who actually helps check your feelings and convert the negative feelings to positive conversations. It's a beautiful thing which has been worked on by our team since months, and there has been a lot of research and development gone on it. And I think, when I think Nina mentioned that when people cannot afford counselors, when people cannot, take appointments and pay for it, we as United We Care, since we believe in the cause, we have actually created Stella to ensure that people can come and talk to Stella and feel better, or just get their mood uplifted without even spending anything, because Stella is absolutely free on our app. But yes, the power of human touch is also very, very important, and that's the second part what we have on our app United We Care, where we give you expert counseling from psychologists, life coaches, and lawyers who can counsel you in your tough times, or when you are going through some kind of stress, and you can, by just taking an appointment on the app. It's a virtual way. If you want your identity to be anonymous, you can do that, because at times people feel that I still don't want to reveal my identity. So keep your identity anonymous and still take the advice of the expert and counselor based on the issue that you have. Very, very happy to share that we don't have just one type of specialist or one type of psychologist. We have psychologists, life coaches, and lawyers with deep expertise and specialization in solving various problems related to different genders. It can be a man might be going through a problem with respect to, maybe he's getting anxious of losing a job, or working at home with, children being there and the family being there. A woman might be going through a menopause at the age of 40, and she might be going through a troublesome time, or she might have just put on weight and she might be going into depression. Or anybody who's working along with managing home. Like if I give you my example, like I gave in the other session, I think yes, it's a tough time during COVID. You have this problem because you're sitting at home, you're managing work, you're managing children, you're managing household things, and yes, you do get stressed. But on our app, with the help of technology and with the help of human touch, we aspire to touch millions of lives and create a positive impact. So that's what I would say, that a virtual way of ensuring that you are at a place which is convenient to you, you are at a place which gives you that comfort level. You can choose the expert based on your issues that you're going through. You can choose a convenient time, and you can be on a trusted platform where your conversation with Stella or with the expert will be absolutely confidential. That is what we have created, and that I'm sure will help a lot of people to overcome this problem of not sharing their stress and anxiety reasons with experts.
Sorry, thank you so much, Amita. Nina, Bhavna, how much do you agree with what Shweta said? Apart from your professional expertise, and what you've seen, with the people that you worked with, how much of it is it true? How much of it is what you are trying to do as well with such people? I just want to understand your take on this as well.
So I'll tell you, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a mental health professional, but my background is in psychology and journalism and a bunch of other subjects. And while I was heading well-being at Business World, that was my baby, I came across a bunch of people, and I've always advocated mental health awareness since the age of 19, because I've had anxiety since I was 19, and I've spoken about it very, very openly. And I'm proud to share that because I have friends who you would never imagine having anxiety or depression coming up to me, Shruti, telling me that, yeah, Nina, I haven't been able to sleep at night. I've been fighting with my husband, and I've been popping
Sleeping
antihistamines. Sleeping pills, I can understand. Antihistamines. So she knew that she needed, Bhavna, she needed that effect of sort of placating herself. And she's somebody who is the life of the party. You would never imagine. And for me, I look up to her tremendously. So I'm so happy that I started her off on that journey. And today she talks about it openly. She'll be like, yaar, chale jao, yaar, mil lo doctor ko, have the medicine if you need to for 6 months or 6 years, just do it. So I think, yes, there is while Shumita said that there isn't a taboo, I beg to differ a little bit. I mean, I feel that the taboo is still there. Whether you're educated or not educated, what tends to happen is now the conversation is happening. Definitely. There's a lot of movement and momentum, right? There's a lot of awareness and conversation. But families are still like, even if you do get help, don't talk about it. Because God forbid somebody gets to know that you're not you're like in the head, it'll affect your future prospects. It could affect you at every level, right? Personally, professionally. And I was recording a show with somebody last night in LA. And I was telling her, I said, I was told a couple of months ago that if you talk about mental health the way you do on LinkedIn, it's equivalent to professional suicide. Can you please stop it? And I was just like, are we living in the dark ages? Like seriously. So I think what tends to happen to people when they're going through mental health challenges is that apart from the taboo, they're afraid of the judgment. And of course, I have anxiety issues, so I have my little cheat sheet. So I am going to highlight that I didn't want to miss out on anything. So I feel that there's this sense of loneliness, right, and this feeling of being isolated. And then one doesn't have the vocabulary. I mean, I'm working in this space, so I know how to name the feelings. I know what I'm going through. And I've been working on myself. I've been in therapy since I'm 19. I'm a therapy junkie. I'm like an advocate I have a psychiatrist, I have a psychologist, I have a life coach, I have a healer, the works. So if I need the entire entourage, so be it, right? So I have the vocabulary. then I think what happens to people is they have this feeling where they fear being othered, that if they talk about what they're going through, you'll be like, she or he is not like us, right? And like I mentioned, professionally, it's like, oh my goodness, this person is not reliable, they're not stable, like I don't want to hire this person. And what I told this person who I recorded with last night was that, what I realized was, when people would say that, oh God, Ninna, so difficult to deal with sometimes, I realized that the days that my head is in the toilet, it's in the toilet. But when it's not, holy shit, I'm equal to 10 people. So don't talk about my head, because my head is perfectly fine, toilet or not. So then I've been told by plenty of people, even till date, and it pisses me off. It's in your head. It's all in your head. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. It's in my head. It's in my body. It's on my skin. It's in my gut. It's everywhere. So don't tell me it's in my head. It's everywhere, right? Things could be worse, right? Look at somebody else. I don't want you to tell me. I don't want you to tell me about anybody else. I want you to create a space for me to share, right? So if you're going through mental health challenges, you want to have that. You want to know that there's space for you to share, judgment free. Then snap out of it. Listen, I love you. Don't be weak. Okay. There's no switch in my head. I wish there was a switch. Bhavna, I'm sure you get this a lot as well. Like, your clients come to you and like, dude, there's no switch. I can't switch it off. Okay. And I get this all the time. You don't look like you have depression ever. You don't look like you're anxious. And I'm like, are you kidding me? There's this little thing that lives in the pit of my stomach. Even before we started today, I sat here and I was like, okay. And I did my grounding exercises. And the fear is there, right? You're always afraid when you have anxiety that you're going to fumble and you're going to stumble. But because I'm passionate about what I do, I plow through, because I know that I have a very powerful voice, and people who listen to my voice know that if she can be okay, we can be okay. Then this too shall pass. Then people talk about kismet, right? And my pet peeve, some of my closest friends tell me, because they're very disciplined, is why don't you just wake up in the morning? Yeah, just establish a routine. And I'm like, I'm doing my best. And I think whatever works, right, Bhavna, whatever works for you. So when somebody tells me we want to have an interview or we want to have a conversation, I do whatever I have to do in the morning when I can hide, but the best time to talk to me is after 1, when I'm done with my kitter pitter, because sometimes I wake up and I'm feeling like a little afraid. And it's a pervasive sense of fear. I don't know why it happens. I mean, I come from a very secure family. I have lovely parents. I've got a beautiful daughter. But there's that, I can't help it. I have that fear. So I can't surface till a certain point in the day. So I think these are some of the issues that people face when they have mental health challenges. And that, apart from the fact that there's a huge taboo, this is a script that's out there that they deal with, right? And this is gentle. For me, this is gentle. I mean, people are told you're mad, do some voodoo, isko par jhaad kar do, this, that. And I'm not talking of uneducated people only. I'm talking about people from, our kind of families, that usko yaar kuch puja kara do, and if only pujas could fix everything. So,
अंगूठी पहना
अंगूठी पहनो बिल्कुल
है ना व्रत करो ये वाला खाना इस दिन उसको डोनेट करो. So I think Neena, I would really give you not a virtual but a real applause for actually bringing to our notice that it's all right sometimes not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. I think this is a theme that is really going on. And Shumita, I was personally just thinking when you were telling us about this beautiful app and about Stella, that the moment I get off this live streaming, I'm going to click and book an appointment, because no matter what, this COVID pandemic has also brought along with it a mental health pandemic. And in this mental health pandemic, I think there is an all-pervasive stress, and each one of us needs to look after ourselves, needs to build up our resources, needs to build up our coping strategies to be able to deal with it. And I think, Shumita, congratulations to you and the entire United We Care team. I mean, really kudos with a double thumbs up. Because whether I'm sitting here in Delhi and my neighbor is in New Friends, where I am, or whether he's in New York, your platform does not help it make any different. Because especially for me, what I'm now seeing is that the Hindi saying that Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which basically means the world is a small family, is actually coming true, because the pandemic is global and the solutions also are global. And thereby, I have been into this practice for over 2.5 decades. It's all the colored black hair that are not showing those 25 years, but that's just on a lighter side. But in these 25 years, the last 5 months, I have seen as many global patients as I would have in the last 20 years. So suppose I saw 2,000 patients in 20 years who were globally placed across the world. In the last 5 months, 5 or 6 months, I have seen those many patients, because the world has really become small. Because, Shumita, United We Care and other platforms have created that closeness.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And
Yes.
additionally, they have created that confidentiality also. So, I have my name over here, which says Bhavna Barmi. I may not have it. I could have a virtual background. I could have a virtual face. It does not matter, because what matters is the feeling and the thought and what your body is saying. I am not well, or I am in a state of imbalance. And that is what is important for us to understand, that these days we definitely need platforms like this, where of course there are stellars, because we need a lot of generic thought processes, to help us cope up with our dysfunctional thoughts or functional thoughts that we want even more productive, and our feelings that sometimes are not what we want to have. But from there, I would say, even offering, so, generic solutions are very, very important. And then if we need to fine tune it and have individual thought processes on solutions for our own selves, I think that also is available on platforms like this. So I think it's an incredible journey, which is getting so many more people help, support, guidance, which probably was never thought of even in times pre-COVID. So, I think there are these silver linings that all of us are very, very blessed with. And the more opportune we become of those, and we think of them as blessings and not as challenges, the sooner we'll be able to reach a better path for ourselves to evolve and personally grow with. And each one of us should take that opportunity to grow. Whether it's Nina, whether it's me, whether it's Shruti, whether it's Shumita, I think we should all pledge that we want to evolve into happier beings. And Shumita, your smile is actually very, very powerful. When you mentioned that, I truly wish on this special day that smiles and sunshines come to all of us.
Thank you
Lovely.
so much, Dr. Bhavna. That was lovely. I can't tell you, I just feel so wonderful that we have support from you and Ninna, all the energy that she's got together in telling everyone how powerful this entire process is and how important it is to take care of your mind, because these smiles, the way you are smiling, I'm smiling, and the energy that Ninna has got, in spite of she's so, open in saying that yes, I go through anxiety attacks, but look at the positive energy that she has. Just love that, Ninna. And you're
Thank
absolutely
you.
right in saying that there is a taboo today. It is a long journey, and that is what we're all here for breaking that taboo.
Yeah.
And we're here to tell people that things will not be perfect forever. You will go through ups and downs, but that's only human. So just know how to manage it. And in Nina, you can manage it so beautifully. I think you're a role model for a lot of people today who are watching you and who are getting this energy from you that yes, people go through tough times with everything in their family and business and everything going well, but yet you tend to get stressed
That's the
and
thing.
anxious. But it's perfect how you manage it.
And that's the reality, right? Because sometimes you can't explain, because when you look at the P&L of life, not money, but the P&L of life, it's like, but she's got everything going her way. Why is she so ungrateful? You don't understand the fact that what's going on behind. But Bhavna, coming to what you said about the anonymity factor, I think that's very powerful at this point. And I think, Shumita, with what you're doing with United We Care, that I don't have to walk into the clinic. And I remember going to Dr. Chug's clinic many years ago, and stumbling upon a very famous politician. And I mean, we all know that he has addiction issues. But for him to see me and me to see him, and we have plenty of people in common, I felt so bad, because I was okay, because everybody knows that Ninna goes for therapy, or when Ninna needs help, she will go check in, right? His body language was like, oh God. I mean, he's like all of 6'2", stunning looking man. And he was like, oh God, like he wished like the earth opened up and swallowed him because I saw him there. I never took his name. I never told anybody that I saw him there. But the anonymity factor of being on a platform where you can sign in, and A, talk to Stella, and B, find yourself whatever kind of help you need, whether psychologist, psychiatrist, or life coach. I think it's fabulous.
Thank you so much. I think I related to what each one of you shared. I think it's beautiful to hear, Nina, you talk about your own expression feelings so openly, right? I think Ashmita said she understands, and Bhavna has seen it with her clients as well. I mean, I too have gone through that struggle myself, right? Where I haven't been able to make people understand what is it that I'm exactly going through. That's also a tough thing, that we might sometimes know how to talk about it, but we might not be able to express it or make people comprehend what we're going through, right? I remember it was a struggle to make people understand what panic attacks are. Till date, I can't make them understand what panic attacks are and what I actually go through, right? Unless you actually see me in that moment. And that is something that inevitably nobody's around me when I have it, right? So you can't really also explain it. So Bhavna, tell me one thing. When you have clients who come in for your guidance and support, what is the struggle that you really see in your first encounter with them, right? And Nina, what in your opinion, when you are meeting with somebody who is possibly struggling with a challenge of their own, and as somebody who's a speaker and so open about their own experience, what is the differentiator between how you talk and what you just described as an example in their body language, how he shriveled up, right, completely, because for him it was the outside world's gaze on him, right? So in both of your opinion, how can one, I mean, the event's title is opening up, right? How does that one individual spark that 1% of confidence in themselves to be able to open up? What is, I mean, all three of you actually, what do you think is that one thing that you can actually suggest in your own experiences, expertise, that people can do?
Bhavna, would you like to go first? I can't help
Yeah, okay.
myself. I have to be like, I have to control for a second. Bhavna, can you go first?
Of course, I can go first. I can go with all of you. And I think this is what we need to communicate to every and anybody who is coming to us. I think the first thing that we need to communicate is that empathetic availability, that I am empathetically, emotionally available for you. And the moment that emotional connect is done, that means that emotional rapport is made. Trust me, 50% of the client's concerns are also weaned off. And this is very, very important, along with assuring them with the confidentiality that, I am professionally connecting with you, but I give you this confidentiality that one, I'm with you on a solution focused approach. We will understand the problems, but we will deal a lot more with giving you the solutions and empowering you to facilitate those solutions into yourselves so that your challenge does not remain a challenge and you have the resources to be able to deal with them. So you become your own facilitator. So we are going to be on a self-empowerment path. Second thing is that we assure them confidentiality, that even if we meet you anywhere socially or professionally, we never make it apparent that you've come and discussed your thoughts and feelings with us. So feel free to open up your thoughts, your feelings. And the more you're able to share your thoughts and feelings, the sooner you will be able to carve a path of, the beautiful journey that you are looking for in yourself. So whether outside of therapy or whether inside of therapy, I think this opening up is very, very important. And to be able to give them that non-judgmental, empathetic platform that, yes, we are available and you can, this is a safe space and you can share anything and everything that comes to your mind, because not only will it help us understand you better, but it will also help you understand yourself better and you understand the path ahead better for yourself. So I think this opening up is very, very important, even in safe, confidential spaces like therapy. And I think good therapists always encourage that. So the first 1 or 2 sessions is more about listening. And listening is different from hearing, because listening is when you hear, you understand not just from here, but from here. And you project it that you have understood with a head and heart in balance. And then you present back. You present back all your constructive suggestions, of which you facilitate your client to choose from. Because he chooses, he again opens and expresses that, okay, if I'm choosing this path, then these are the pros and cons of it. So again, you are facilitating expressions, opening ups, expressing what you truly feel and you think, not only of your problem, but also of your solutions. So I think it's very, very important for us. Secondly, we can also bring the family in, and we can also help the family understand that opening up of this client is very, very important. And all of you need to be non-judgmental at that point of time. So I think the psychoeducation part to the family is equally important. Otherwise, there's no point that the client or the person is only opening up with me or with Stella, and he's not opening up with the rest of the world, which is his real world. So I think getting them into sync sometimes also does does a better magic into the lives of the people to be able to express.
Absolutely agree with you, Dr. Bhavna. Absolutely. Because I'm telling you, I have seen experiences on the app in the last 2 months, when people have called us, and I've seen people registering and then waiting for like a week, because the trust factor is very important. But all those who gave it that one try and who actually spoke to our experts, and our experts are all as dedicated as the way you are, and people can feel it in your voice that you're there to help them out. And when people have called up on an app, it's not once, then they've become 88% of them have become repeat users. That just shows that they start getting confident, and the first 2 sessions, like you rightly said, our experts listen, because the other person only wants to vent out and talk about what that person is feeling. But it's so beautiful to see when we see reviews after 4 to 5 sessions that people are solving their problem and going out with a smile. So that's the beauty. And one more thing that we realized is, and for giving that comfort, Shruti, as technology, and through our app, the way we are comforting users is, number one, we're talking very positively about mental health and about opening up on all our social media. Second thing, what we've understood is that maybe some people don't want to reveal their identity, so anonymous section is also there. Thirdly, we are giving them the comfort of chatting or talking or doing a video call with our expert as per what they're comfortable with. So there were few people who did not want to show their, they didn't want to come face to face with an expert, and that's where they just made a call to the expert via the app. And there are few who wanted to do a couple therapy through a video call with an expert. And as a platform, we encourage people to be comfortable and open up, and that is why we give all the three mediums available to them.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so we do have a few interesting questions from our viewers.
Oh, but we wanted to hear Ninna also. Sorry, Ninna also
Yes,
had
yes,
something.
yes.
And
You
so
passed me, Shruti.
I know you.
Shruti,
Sorry.
you passed me. You got a
I'm
big
so
X
sorry.
against your name.
Now you get double time. Nina, you
I
get double
remember
time.
Ninna.
Now I have 6 minutes, okay? So
And we love you.
Oh, thank you. I totally agree with both of you, Shamita and Bhavna. And when you spoke about education, psychoeducation, I mean, I covered, and that was the cover of the magazine when I came out with the magazine last year. So just to let you know that I launched the platform and I no longer work with Business World, but that was my baby. And the cover of the magazine was His Holiness launching the social, emotional, ethical learning curriculum. So I think education is so important, right? Because without that, you can keep talking till the cows come home, but if people don't change from the root, it's not going to make a difference long term. So I feel first of all, social, emotional, ethical learning, and secondly, I feel it's really important to bring the family into the fold. I think that's a very, very powerful thing. But in the absence of that, if you're talking to your friends or a mental health professional, I think active listening, it helps so much. So many times, whether I'm talking to my therapist or I'm talking to my psychiatrist or I'm talking to a friend, it's that knowing that you're present fully present and you're actively listening, that makes me a difference, and I'm sure it makes a difference to everybody else, right? Then being present, the space, and judgment free, I think that's the most important thing that makes a difference.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Linda, Shamita, and Bhavna. We actually have quite a lot of questions where viewers really, really want to itch your minds to answer them. So we have a few which are directed at each one of you. I'll start with one where, Bhavna, this is for you. That if somebody is emotionally bit more emotional and cries on small, small things, does it? Do they need counseling then? Do you think that that emotional aspect that triggers things off for them, they need that extra professional help? And also I feel what they also want to say is that possibly this is why they don't open up as well. So what's your take on that?
I feel all emotions are very beautiful emotions, and crying is an emotion. And I think we should allow ourselves to cry. Otherwise, Karan Johar will cry, because all the emotional drama created is for ourselves to be able to vent out. So there's happiness, there's romance, there's crying, which are all a part of me. And I think we should be accepting that all emotions encompass me. But two things we need to be a little vigilant about. One, if there is a trigger that has made me sad and I'm crying, we have this entire Indian concept of rudalis, which is as an aspect of grief counseling. When people don't cry post grief or post trauma, then we have people like rudalis, quote unquote, who are called in to help you ventilate. So, crying we should also see as a expression, as a ventilation, and not always as a sign of a mental health disorder. Two things that will differentiate it from being a mental health disorder. One is the persistence. So suppose the crying episodes last longer than about 2 weeks, then we need to bring to our notice that maybe we need to heal and we need to take a psychological understanding of our own self. And the second thing, that when it is happening without triggers, so it could be a biochemical imbalance that is, not under our control, and we are moving towards it. So definitely we should seek support, and even sensitively know how to handle our own triggers, because sometimes we just want to express what we really want to express. So get that actual channel rather than displacing it into either anger or crying spells. We should be able to express our thoughts and our feelings in something that brings out the true emotion and the thought process behind that emotion of even crying.
All right. Shumita, we have a question for you. How effective is online counseling versus visiting a psychologist in person, in your opinion? Because we've been talking about technology, we've been talking about the virtual world. So what would you like to say on that?
So, Shruti, currently, since the awareness level and this entire talking of mental health is still a taboo and a stigma, that's why I think the virtual part really helps, because the comfort of your home, the comfort of the time that you're talking to somebody, the comfort level of the confidentiality of the anonymous part can all be maintained virtually. Whereas when you walk up to a specialist, like Nina said, that when she went and people were shying away because it's still a social stigma and we're trying to break that, but it is a journey and it will take time. But till then, I think virtually today, even if you want to talk to an expert through voice or through video, it's all available. And like Dr. Bhavna also said, that it's so beautifully that there is a problem that has come, which is COVID and pandemic, which is a worldwide problem today. But there is a bigger solution to it, that if you want to calm your mind globally, you can get connected through virtual apps like United We Care. So with every solution comes with every problem comes a solution, and the world is moving digitally, the world is moving virtually, and in today's time especially, I think it's a very big thing that virtual apps like us are really trying to create that connect between counselors and people who need to talk to them.
Thank you.
Shumita, I'd just like to add on over here
Yes.
one thing that now, what I have also seen. I was talking to you about a large 20-year gap which has been filled in by this 6 months in which the global population is coming to us. Also, because of the availability of this virtual app, what is happening is that India or the Indian subcontinent is a very special subcontinent because our socio-cultural realms are so different from across the world. And
Right.
70% of the people who are coming actually from different parts of the world back on a platform who are Indians in different parts of the world are coming back to Indian virtual platforms because they can see that socio-cultural connect. At the age of, or I think somebody was talking over here about marital discord. You go to a Western counselor and you talk about, I'm not gelling well with your wife. They say, why are you even sitting with us? Go to the lawyer.
Absolutely, that happened to me, Bhavna. When I was in America, I went to a therapist, and the first thing she said to me, she was like, "But why are you still married?" And this is back in like 2005. She said, "Why aren't you getting divorced?" And I never went back to her. I got divorced later because I said, because in India we don't, and it was not. It was like it was not even a thought that I would ever have entertained at that time. But that's exactly what happens.
So, that's what I'm saying, that these days, so much socio-cultural connect back to the roots is possible because of the virtual platform. And 70% of my global population are Indians or from the Southeast Asian because our socio-cultural realm is so different. And the kind of counseling we do, we gave just an example of marital discord. There could be children who want to leave the house at 16. In India, my daughter studying medicine at the age of 22, I still don't want her to go away from me, And at 16, when parents come from different parts of the world to foreign therapists, they say, let them just go. But here, it's not about right or wrong. It's just about the roots being different from roots which are outside. And I really think, Shumita, virtual platforms like how you've created definitely fill in that gap, which was becoming further and further existing in times of today. So actually, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
But Shruti, before you do wrap up, I have to answer this question that I see on the screen. I have to.
Yeah, there is one for you. That's why I wanted to announce it because it's a very interesting question. And
because I'm looking at the time.
Now we love your energy. I wish people are viewing this and we will actually showcase this of Dr. Bhavna and you more and more because we want this positivity to go all around.
Yeah, so Nina, I was going to ask you this question. So that's why
I was typing it here that before you sign off, don't not ask
No. So we do have a question for you, Nina. It's from Shireen, and she's asking that how long do these feelings that you spoke of really well of right now, how long do they last? And what do you do to overcome these feelings? In the immediate front, you do go and seek help. But over time, I'm sure you've come up with your own methodologies of coping, as a immediate actionable step.
Okay, so what I'm dying to share is that in these 45 minutes, I have had 4 episodes.
Unbelievable.
4 episodes and I'm shaking. Okay, so it happens, and something that Dr. Chuk taught me years ago. We have this rapport. I told him, instead of me paying you, you should be paying me for entertainment. Okay. So, so he told me one time, it was one of the most precious takeaways. And he said to me, Nina, when you feel this fear or this anxiety overcome you, that paralyzes you, imagine the worst case scenario. Okay. And I do that in a split second. What? I'll stammer, I'll fumble. You'll know that I had a moment of weakness. Big shit. So for me, the spells happen. They happen, especially when I'm in the public light. It scares the shit out of me, but I do it because I know that my voice is important. So it lasts for short spells, and I get over it. Sometimes it's something as simple as having a sip of water. And I have not been on medication for 15 years, but a year before last in November, I did have a baby breakdown. I had a very bad personal experience, and I went to Dr. Chug. And I had the launch of the Wellbeing magazine, and I had a massive event with like 50 people that I was responsible for. And he said, "Yaar, mujhe pata hai. I know you don't want medicines. I promise you, 5 weeks, 21st December ko event khatam hoga, 21st night ko tu dobara lena band kar de." So 5 weeks I was on medication, and He said, I want you to sleep at night. So I don't know what strong medication he gave me. I Googled it. And he told me, I told you not to Google it, but it's given to people even for schizophrenia. So of course, I went to next level. Doctor C, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. And he's like, Meri ma, I'm not lying to you. Okay. You need this right now for 5 weeks over and out. So what I do is I have water. I try and distract myself. I imagine the worst case scenario. And sometimes I always have etilam with me. So I always have etilam, and Dr. C does not understand. He says, I don't understand how your body manages. But for a 0.5, what a normal person will have the entire pill, maybe it's a placebo effect, I don't know. I have quarter. So maybe 5 times in the year, I'll have that. And I've allowed myself since November 2018, when he said to me, Ninna, you're not a failure. Okay, if you need the support, you need the support. And you've been advocating this your entire life. So those are the few things that I do. And as I shared with you right now, I shat my pants 4 times right now. So.
I actually relate to you, Nina. I'm going to just add one little second to this. I actually relate to you because I am going through the same thing. I don't have episodes like yourself, but I genuinely, I palpitate. And I think Shumita saw me before we started this call. So this happens to me. So if you put me on the spot, I will also have, my body language will show it. My voice may not, my face may not. So I think what you guys have done for us today, all 3 of you, Dr. Bhavna, Shumita, Nina, it's value added. Trust me, if I can guarantee that for each one of us who's watching this, that this is value added lessons and guidances from all 3 of you. You all come from different walks of life, but as I introduced you guys, you have one thing in common: how deep rooted your I'm a Buddhist practitioner, so I'm going to use a word which is ichinin, which is your determination and motivation. That's a Japanese word. You guys are determined to spread the word about mental wellness, and you're passionate about it with your own personal take to it. And I could see that. So thank you so very much for joining us and making this panel discussion the way it was, because I don't think it could have been any better than this. So thank you so much for taking out the time and making this possible. So thank you once again.
Thank you and good luck, you guys. Seriously, good luck.
Thank you, Ninna, and thank you, Dr. Bhavna, and thank you, Shruti. And I think she's a big support to the company, and she's always there. And I love her passion for United We Care, and that is why I think we are growing at the speed that we are, because we have such passionate people in our team. Thank you
so much, Amita. All right. So guys, thank you so much for watching this panel discussion with us, with Shumita Kakkar, Nina Claire, and Bhavna Barmi. We would end this panel discussion right now, but do stay tuned, because in a few minutes, we're going to be starting our last segment of this event. So thank you very much. Stay tuned.